Okay, so when you think office, you probably just picture, desks and computers, the place where work happens.
Right, it's a backdrop.
Exactly. But what if that backdrop was actually more like an engine, a really carefully designed engine, something strategic that could seriously boost a business?
Yeah, that's what we're digging into today. It might sound a bit academic up front. We're looking at a strategic office management course outline,
Mm-hmm.
but the idea is to completely reframe how you think about managing an office. It's not just admin. It's a core strategic piece.
Totally. So think of this as our shortcut through the syllabus. We're pulling out the key stuff, the insights that give you a fresh look at how organizations actually work at their core.
Doesn't matter the size of the company, really.
Right. And yeah, office management might make you think of, I don't know, ordering pens or managing the coffee machine.
Yeah, the stereotypes.
But we're going to uncover some honestly surprising strategic links here.
Yeah.
It's less about the tiny details and more about the big principles that drive efficiency, productivity.
And ultimately, the bottom line. It all connects.
So let's map it out. We've got 5 units from this outline. First, we hit the basics. Why office management is actually important.
Then we get practical with systems and processes, how things actually get done.
Unit 3 jumps into the structure, organization, delegation, and how people work in groups, the human dynamics bit.
Then Unit 4 broadens out business, finance, and marketing. How does the office fit into that?
Yeah, interesting angle. And finally, Unit 5 brings it all together with leadership, motivation, and control. The real strategic levers. Ready to jump in.
Let's do it, because it all starts with really getting why this stuff matters more than people think.
Okay, Unit 1, office management and its importance. So let's start basic. What is office management really at its heart?
Well, at its core, it's the operational hub.
Mm,
Simple as that. It's the bit that organizes resources, makes sure information flows, coordinates everything.
the nervous system.
Yeah, exactly like that. Connecting everything, keeping records, handling communication both inside and, with the outside world. It keeps the whole thing running.
Right. And it's easy to just see it as support, but this outline really bangs the drum on its strategic importance. How does good office management actually help a business achieve its big goal?
In very real ways.
Yeah.
Efficiency gains, for instance. Streamline things. You cut costs. Less wasted time. Fewer wasted resources. That hits the bottom line directly.
Okay.
And good coordination. That directly fuels productivity. When information gets where it needs to go quickly, when teams work together smoothly, the whole organization moves faster.
So it's not just tidiness, it's actually driving things forward. Okay, the unit also talks about principles of office organization, and it makes this distinction between formal and informal organizations. What's that about?
Right. So the formal organization, that's your official structure.
Yeah.
The hierarchy, who reports to who, the channels everyone's supposed to use, there'll be the org chart.
Got it. The blueprint.
Exactly. But then you've got the informal organization. That's the social network, the connections people make, the unofficial ways information travels, the collaborations that just sort of happen,
Ah, the grapevine.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And you have to understand both, because both really affect how work actually gets done. Sometimes those informal chats solve a problem way faster than going up the formal chain.
But they can also spread rumors.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
need awareness of both to manage effectively.
Interesting, like the official roads versus the shortcuts people actually use.
Yeah.
Okay, then types of organizational structures, line and staff, matrix, quick rundown, and why pick one over another?
Sure. Line organization is the simplest. Straight chain of command, top to bottom. Super clear authority. Great for small, fast-moving teams.
Right.
Line and staff adds specialists, the staff, who advise the line managers. Think HR advising a production head. So you get expertise without muddying the main command chain.
Right, adding expertise.
And matrix is more complex. People might report to 2 bosses and maybe a functional manager and a project manager. It's flexible, good for complex projects, lets you share resources.
But sounds like it could get confusing.
Oh, definitely. Needs really clear communication. Otherwise, you get conflicting demands. The choice really depends on, size, goals, how complicated the work is.
It makes sense. Different structures for different needs. And to see these, we use organization charts. Vertical, horizontal, circular are mentioned. What's the main point of these visuals?
Vertical is the classic pyramid.
Yeah.
Shows hierarchy clearly. Who's got authority over who? That's the main takeaway.
Nerd stuff.
Horizontal lays things out more side by side. It emphasizes teamwork, collaboration across departments at the same sort of level. Less about top-down, more about working together.
Okay, focus on teamwork.
In circular, you don't see it as often.
Mm.
Puts leadership in the middle, shows connections flowing around it. focuses on the center as the coordinating point. The goal for all of them is just a quick visual grasp of how things are set up.
Gotcha. Now, the office isn't an island. It has this key relationship with other departments. Can you give an example of that interaction?
Absolutely critical. The office is often the information exchange point. Like sales provides sales figures to the office, which then processes it and sends it to finance for their reports.
Okay, the connector.
Exactly.
Get it.
It links departments, makes sure info from the top gets down, ensures everyone's working from the same playbook, basically.
And to keep everyone on that same playbook, we have office manuals. What's their main job?
Consistency, really.
Yeah.
They're the how-to guides. How to process an invoice, how to handle a customer complaint, how to get your expenses approved, the step-by-step.
Everyone does it the same way.
Right. Leads to efficiency, fewer mistakes, make sure policies are actually followed, standardization.
Okay. The outline then brings up authority and responsibility. It seems fundamental. What's the crucial link?
Two sides of one coin. Authority is the right to give orders, make decisions, use resources. Responsibility is the obligation to do the job and be accountable for it.
And the link.
You can't have one without the other, not effectively anyway. If you give someone responsibility for a task, they need the authority to actually do it, make decisions, get resources.
Right. Like being responsible for supplies but needing 3 signatures to order paper clips.
Exactly. That disconnect kills efficiency. Authority has to match responsibility.
And how does centralization versus decentralization fit in here? How does that choice affect authority and responsibility?
Good question. Centralization means decision-making power stays mostly at the top. Good for control, consistency maybe.
Okay.
Decentralization pushes that power down the ladder, lets people closer to the action make the calls, often faster, more agile.
So it changes who has the authority and where the responsibility really lies.
Precisely. A very centralized office means less autonomy lower down. Decentralized empowers those teams more. Big difference in how things feel and operate.
And in our digital age, information management is huge. What's its core role in strategic office management?
Information is everything now, right? So good information management is about systematically handling data, collecting, storing, organizing, sharing it. Its core role here is making sure the right info gets to the right people at the right time.
For better decisions.
Exactly. For informed decisions. Think digital dashboards, tracking KPIs, customer databases, analyzing how efficiently things are running. Without that system, you're flying blind, basing decisions on guesses or old news.
Okay. Last point in Unit 1. Scientific office management. Sounds intense. Applying science to admin work.
Pretty much. It takes ideas from people like Frederick Taylor, scientific manager from the factory floor, and applies them to the office.
No.
By analyzing tasks scientifically, breaking them down, timing them, studying emotions, looking for the single best way to do something. The goal is optimization.
So boost efficiency, cut waste.
Exactly. Same goals as Taylor had, just in an office setting. Making administrative processes as smooth and productive as possible.
Okay, solid foundation. That really paints a picture of why office management isn't just mundane admin. So let's move to Unit 2. Office management systems and processes. This sounds like the nuts and bolts, the how.
Correct. This is about how you actually run an efficient office day to day. It starts with planning office activities. What goes into that?
The outline mentions objectives, policies, programs, procedures. They sound related, but how do they fit together?
Think of it like layers, top down. Objectives are the big goals. We need to reduce response times.
Okay, the what?
Right. Policies are the guidelines to get there. All emails must be answered within 24 hours.
The rules?
Programs are the specific actions or initiatives. We'll implement a new email tracking system and train staff.
The projects.
And procedures are the detailed steps. Log email receipt here, assigned to team member X, track resolution using this dropdown.
The step-by-step instructions. Got it. Builds from goal to action.
Exactly. Then the unit covers organizing office activities. Staffing, motivating, coordination, direction, controlling. Sounds like Management 101 applied to the office.
It really is. Staffing, getting the right people, training them, motivating, keeping them engaged, maybe with recognition or growth opportunities.
Coordination, making sure everyone and everything works together smoothly. Direction, providing clear guidance. Leadership.
And controlling, checking performance against goals, making adjustments. It covers all the bases.
Absolutely. It's managing the office as a unit, which leads nicely into the next part. The role of the office manager. What are their key functions, duties, skills?
They really are the linchpin, aren't they? Their functions are broad overseeing operations, managing resources, ensuring workflow.
Day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, the duties are more specific.
Right.
Supervising staff, handling the budget, dealing with vendors, maybe facilities management.
And what makes a good one?
Essential qualities, definitely leadership, strong organization skills, obviously, great communication written, verbal, problem solving on the fly.
Need to be a bit of a leader and a bit of an admin whiz.
Totally. Inspire the team and keep the trains running on time. And finally, Unit 2 talks about administrative office management and this idea of an office system. What is that and why is it important?
An office system is basically a set of coordinated procedures and routines, often using specific tech, designed to get office tasks done efficiently and consistently.
Like a documented workflow.
Pretty much. Its importance is huge for efficiency. Standardizing how things are done cuts errors, ensures consistency, speeds things up. Key principles are clarity, everyone knows the system flexibility to adapt, and standardizing those repetitive tasks.
And office routines, like handling mail, filing.
Exactly. Those are the building blocks of the larger system.
Yeah.
And the office manager's role is crucial here, designing these systems, implementing them, making sure they actually work and keep working.
Okay, so Unit 2 puts the how-to into the framework from Unit 1. Now Unit 3 shifts focus again. Organizational structure, delegation of powers, and group dynamics. This feels more about the people and the framework they work within.
Precisely. Moving from the what and how to the who and where they fit. It starts with the nature of organizational structure. We touched on line, matrix, etc., but what else is key here?
Well, it mentions functional managers and network organizations. How do they add to the picture?
Okay, functional managers are your department heads, head of finance, director of IT, that sort of thing. They oversee a specific function. Their role is critical for ensuring expertise in that area and making sure their department hits its goals, which feed into the bigger company strategy.
Makes sense. Specialists and network structures.
That's a more modern, fluid idea. Teams might form for a project, then dissolve. People connect across departments, maybe even with outside partners, based on the need.
Who are flexible.
Very flexible, often good for innovation. But the downside can be coordination, keeping everyone aligned when the structure is constantly shifting. Needs strong communication.
Right. The outline also digs into features of authority. What are the important dimensions here?
Several things. Legitimacy, do people accept the manager's right to give orders? Scope, what areas does their authority cover? And then the types. Line authority is direct, boss to subordinate.
Standard hierarchy.
Staff authority is advisory, like the legal team giving advice. And functional authority lets someone make decisions in a specific area across departments, like maybe IT setting security protocols everyone has to follow.
Okay. So authority isn't just one thing.
Definitely not. Understanding those differences is key to avoiding confusion over who calls the shots on what.
Which leads into delegation of administrative and financial powers. Why is delegation so vital for office management?
Oh, it's huge for efficiency and development. Delegating tasks, along with the necessary authority, frees up managers for strategic thinking.
Empowers the staff, too.
Absolutely. Builds skills, gives ownership, often leads to faster decisions because the person doing the work can make the call. But, crucially, it needs clear instructions, the right resources, and follow-up. You can't just dump tasks.
Right, responsible delegation. And how do groups and teams fit in? It distinguishes formal and informal groups again. Why is that distinction important here?
Because both impact how work gets done. Formal groups are created by the company departments, project teams, committees, set up for a specific purpose.
Official teams.
Informal groups just emerge, based on friendships, shared interests, maybe just sitting near each other, the lunch crowd, the people who always chat by the coffee machine.
And both matter.
Yeah. Formal groups drive planned tasks. Informal groups affect morale, communication flow, how quickly new ideas or changes are accepted or resisted. They have real influence.
Which brings us to group dynamics. Sounds like the psychology of teams. What should managers know?
It's exactly that, how people behave in groups. Key things to watch. Group norms, the unwritten rules of how we do things around here. What's acceptable behavior, what's not.
Okay.
Rules the parts people play. Sometimes assigned, team leader. Sometimes they just emerge. The peacemaker, the ideas person.
Yeah.
And group cohesiveness, how tightly knit is the group? Do they stick together?
And these affect everything.
Pretty much. They shape behavior, how the group tackles tasks, how they communicate, and ultimately, how effective they are. A cohesive group with clear roles and positive norms. Usually much more productive.
Makes perfect sense. Understanding those invisible forces is key. Okay, big shift now with Unit 4, business finance and marketing management. How on earth do these connect directly to strategic office management?
Well, it's about context. The office doesn't operate in a bubble, right? It's part of a larger business that has financial goals and needs to connect with customers.
So even if the office manager isn't a finance expert.
Exactly. A basic understanding helps them make smarter decisions within their role. They see how office spending fits into the bigger budget, or how office efficiency impacts overall profitability, or how the office supports marketing campaigns. It connects the dots.
Okay, let's start with business finance. Concepts, roles, objectives like profit maximization. Why does an office manager need a handle on this?
Because office decisions have financial consequences. Understanding basics like revenue versus expense helps with budgeting for the office, managing resources wisely, controlling costs. Knowing the company's big financial goals like profit or stability helps align office activities with those goals.
Like knowing whether to buy cheap printers that break or invest in better ones.
Exactly. Understanding operating expenses versus capital investment informs those kinds of choices. The key takeaway: every office action has a ripple effect financially.
Then it gets into financial planning, capital structure, financial markets. Seems higher level. How's that relevant day to day?
It provides the context and constraints. Financial planning sets the overall budget framework that determines what money is available for the office. Capital structure, the company's mix of debt and equity, gives you a sense of the firm's financial health and risk, which can affect investment in things like office tech or even job security.
And financial markets.
That's the big picture where the company gets its funding. It sets the economic environment. Knowing this stuff helps the office manager understand why certain budget decisions are made, even if they don't make them directly. It's about understanding the financial world the office lives in.
Okay, context. Then specifics like money market, capital market, stock exchanges, SEBI. This feels quite far from managing office supplies. What's the essential bit here?
Again, context and awareness. Money market, short-term funds, affects immediate cash flow, maybe impacting timely payments for office services. Capital market long-term funds relates to growth and big investments.
Stock exchange.
If public, it reflects how the company is doing in investors' eyes. And SEBI, or a similar regulator, highlights the importance of compliance, rules, accurate record keeping, which does impact office procedures. It's about knowing the landscape.
Got it. Shifting gears to marketing management. Functions, the 4Ps, product, price, place, promotion. Why does the office team need to know this?
Because the office often supports marketing, even indirectly. Understanding the products, the price point, how customers are reached, and the promotional messages, promotion, gives context.
How so?
Well, a new product launch might mean more customer calls for the office to handle, or needing new brochures printed, or updating internal info. Knowing the marketing plan helps the office anticipate and support those needs effectively. It's about seeing how the admin side helps the customer-facing side.
And the extended 7Ps. Adding people, process, physical evidence. Why are these relevant, especially now?
Hugely relevant, especially with service businesses.
Yeah.
People as the staff interacting with customers, office staff are often part of that or support those who are. Their attitude matters.
Process.
The systems for delivering this service. Efficient office processes, better customer experience. Think smooth appointment booking or quick issue resolution.
And physical evidence.
The tangible stuff. A professional-looking office, clear letters, a good website, things the customer sees and touches. The office manager has a direct hand in shaping all three: staff training, process efficiency, the office environment itself.
Wow, okay. It really does all weave together. Which brings us to the final unit, Unit 5, Strategic Management Dynamics, Leadership, Motivation, and Control. This feels like where it all culminates, leading the people and managing the operations strategically.
Absolutely. This is about making it all happen, effectively leading the team, keeping them motivated, ensuring performance meets the strategic goals. It starts big with leadership. What is the outline stress here?
A lot. The importance of leadership in the office, key qualities like integrity, empathy, being decisive, different styles, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, transformational.
The whole spectrum.
Yeah, and what makes a style work in a given situation. Plus, it throws in several leadership theories. Maslow, Herzberg, McGregor's X and Y, Auchizi.
Foundational stuff. Knowing those different styles helps a manager adapt their approach. Sometimes you need to be direct. Other times, empowering the team is better. Recognizing the key qualities is about self-development.
And the theories.
They provide frameworks. Maslow helps understand what might motivate someone based on their needs. Herzberg helps distinguish between things that just prevent dissatisfaction, like salary hygiene factors, and things that truly motivate, like recognition motivators. They're tools for understanding people.
Right, which leads directly into motivation. It references those theories again, but also concepts like work commitment and work measurement.
Exactly. Motivation is the core driver. The theories help understand why people work hard. Work commitment is about that dedication, that loyalty. And techniques of work measurement, like time studies, give you objective data.
Data for what?
Data to see how long tasks actually take, find bottlenecks, improve processes. And that data is crucial for setting realistic standards of performance. Clear benchmarks, KPIs, what good looks like.
Which you need for the final piece. Control. Setting up effective control systems and the process of control. Why is this the capstone?
Because control closes the loop. It ensures things stay on track. An effective control system isn't about being authoritarian. It's about having clear standards, measuring performance against them.
Seeing where things are going off track.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Comparing results to standards, identifying the gaps, and then critically taking corrective action. The process of control is that cycle. It's a standard, measure, act, compare, correct. It ensures accountability and keeps the office aligned with the company's strategic direction.
So this last unit really emphasizes the office manager not just as an admin, but as a strategic leader, motivating, measuring, and controlling to ensure the office contributes fully.
Precisely. It pulls everything together, structure, systems, people, finance, marketing, under that strategic umbrella.
Wow. Okay, stepping back and looking at this whole strategic office management outline, it's way more complex and, frankly, more important than I think most people realize.
Definitely. It really does blend organizational theory, HR, finance, marketing, leadership, all focused on that central office hub.
Yeah, there were definitely some aha moments for me, seeing how like financial market understanding or marketing principles actually connect back to running an efficient office.
Absolutely.
Right.
It drives home that a well-run office isn't just, keeping the lights on. It's a strategic asset. Understanding these ideas helps anyone working in an organization, not just managers.
Gives you a framework for seeing how things work, how to be more efficient yourself, maybe.
For sure. It helps you navigate the dynamics.
It really makes you think, though, with all these pieces, structure, systems, people, finance, marketing, leadership.
Mhm.
If you had to pick one element as the absolute most critical for a thriving office, what would it be?
Ooh, tough question. Probably no single right answer, right? It likely depends so much on the specific company, its challenges, its goals.
Yeah, context is everything. But it's definitely something to mull over, thinking about your own workplace.
For sure. It pushes you to think about what really drives effectiveness in that administrative core.
Well, this has been fascinating, seriously insightful to unpack this topic and see the strategic depth beneath what seems like a simple subject. Thanks for walking through it with me.
My pleasure. It's always interesting to see how interconnected all these business functions really are.
Absolutely. Well, until our next deep dive, keep thinking about how those organizational wheels are turning.